All right, so welcome to our very first class session here, and we want to go over the basic procedures and requirements that we're going to do online this year. So some basics of Zoom. Some of you experienced this at the end of last year. You are going to be logging in with your student ID this year. We are not going to be allowing you to log in any way you want. We've got to know who is in the class this year. And so you will not be allowed in with alternate logons. If you are tardy, you expect to hang out in the waiting room for a while. I will be checking the waiting room in a natural break of class. I'm not going to be starting class and then having students one at a time being admitted. You are going to have to keep your video on during the whole class period. We're expecting you this year to actually be doing the work while you're in class. You are not allowed to disable your video or step away from the screen for any extended period of time. You're also not going to be allowed to be on a phone or any other things that allow you to be distracted. You should be actively participating in class during the whole time we're on Zoom. That means you're not going to be having lunch during that time or doing other things that will distract you from learning. The drinking of water and obviously keeping hydrated is permitted. You should arrive at every Zoom session ready to work with paper and pencils and erasers to complete the lesson. You're going to start every lesson just the way you would at school. You're going to put every lesson has a number and a title, and that's the first thing you're going to write on your white lined paper. You're going to put your name, date, and class period in the upper right-hand corner of that paper as well. You will notice that you are muted during the vast majority of class. You will be able to get my attention by hitting the raise your hand button included in Zoom, and I will answer those questions during natural breaks in class. Students will be unmuted and called upon during class. You should be prepared for this. Failure to respond will result in reduction of students' cooperation grade, and if you continue to be uncooperative, then calls to home, etc. All right, so each week, the way the schedule works, you're going to have 2 Zoom lessons in each of your classes, including Algebra 1. If we only do 2 lessons for the entire year, we will only cover about 40% of what you need to be ready for high school. So we cannot just do that. So you will also be completing at least 2 lessons each week independently. Now, I have recorded a video of every single lesson, both the ones we're going to do in Zoom and the ones you're going to do independently. They are all in Schoology in a folder in a red folder entitled Videos of the Lessons. So if you miss a Zoom session, there's already a video ready for you to go. You could look at the video ahead of the Zoom session even if you really wanted to. It is all there. You could actually do this whole course without ever going to a Zoom session, except you'd be marked absent all the time and there would be a problem with that. The district wants you to come to Zoom sessions this year and be present and counted as for attendance. We are taking attendance this year. And there will be repercussions for people who don't have attendance. But the materials for this class are all going to be, every single material for the entire first semester will be in Schoology ready to go for you at any time. Every lesson and assignment will be numbered. Right? This was numbered 0.1. We're going to have a few lessons that start with 0. What that indicates is this is unit 0. There's no test at the end of this unit. Okay? But once we start unit 1, then we will start having tests, and you will take those online, and they will be real tests. My Algebra 1 students last year had a final online, a real final. And you will have the same at the end of each semester. You will have a final and you will have tests that you're expected to take online without taking retests. I know some of your 7th grade teachers allowed you to take the tests online over and over again. No, we're not doing that. These are going to be real tests, and you're expected to do them within a 1 hour time period. Yes. And I have set them up so that if there's a technical problem, they can be resumed if that's your first thought, because that happened to my students last year as well. I've hopefully fixed that. Every lesson is numbered. So it's 0.1 today, the next time it's 0.2, then 0.3, then 0.4, then we start 1.1 and 1.2. So you miss a session, you know what you missed. You did 1.2, you know what you missed 1.3. And if you missed 2, you missed 1.3 and 1.4. You just go in Schoology, you find the video, you find the homework, they're all numbered, they're all ready to go. There is no reason for you not to complete your work. So the homework assignments will be in a purple folder, the video of the lessons will be in a red folder. All right. You will be submitting both your classwork and your homework in this class. All right, and that's different than some other teachers. If you're that student who the teacher was always telling you, well, you have to do your classwork to get you ready for the test, I actually grade your classwork, so you can't get away with not doing it and not doing a good job. So you're going to get each assignment's worth 5 points. Typically, the classwork's worth 3 of those points, the homework's worth 2 of those points, and together they're worth 5. So you're going to submit typically at least 2 pieces of paper, a classwork paper and a homework paper. And you're going to take 1 or 2 photographs or scans of that work and submit those pictures via Schoology. You are absolutely not allowed to email me them. All right, Schoology keeps track of the work for us. And I cannot keep track of 150 students via email. So number one thing, if you didn't figure out how to submit work via Schoology last year, you got to get that done. How are you going to take a picture of it? How are you going to get it submitted? All right. Now, one thing we found in our class last spring was that every camera now has incredible quality of pictures, but because they have incredible quality of pictures, they take a long time to download onto teachers' computers. I've upgraded my Wi-Fi partially because of that, so I can grade the work faster this year. But what I'm preferring, you're going to take 1 picture or 2 pictures with multiple pages in it. All right, and we'll talk more about that. But I will zoom in on the particular pages. That turns out to be faster than you sending me 6 pages of work and me downloading 6 pages of work. I really don't want that. All right, you can submit late work in this class, and we'll talk more about that. But when it's late, you lose 1 out of the 5 points, 20%. Well, that means you're starting at 80%. Well, it sounds like a B, but 79% is a C, so it's almost a C. So you do not want to be handing in your work late. All right, so it's scored out of 5. If you get a 5 out of 5, it does not mean you got every single problem right in the homework and classwork. It means I looked at it, you completed the whole thing, and it looks like you understand. Points are deducted though if you didn't put your name period date, the name of the lesson on there. Points are deducted if you didn't show your work. Lots of points for that. Points are deducted if you leave some blank. Points are deducted if things are wrong. Lots of things are wrong. You get 1 wrong, 2 wrong, but you generally understand it. I don't take any points off for that. Okay? But you're going to submit both your classwork and your homework. So what you do during the Zoom sessions counts for points. Please understand that. And you have to do the same thing when you're doing the work independently. All right, so if you go into Schoology, and I believe you can go in there right now, you can see a bunch of folders. So that blue folder at the top says Algebra 1 lessons. That's a printout of everything you're going to see this year or this semester is already printed out. The lessons are in there. They are PowerPoints, and I have printed out all the slides, and some of them are solved. If you're absent, that is a great place to go. So you can see the lessons all printed out. The purple folder has all your homework assignments. So you'll go in there and get your homework assignments. Now they will come up in a PDF, and you can copy the problems down, okay, and then solve them on a piece of paper. Or if you're lucky enough to have a printer, you can print them out and work right on the printout. You are allowed to do that as well. They are two-sided. If you want to get your pictures down to 1 or 2 pictures, you probably want to waste some paper and print it out on 2 pieces of paper so you can put them side by side when you submit them in your one picture. Then there's the red folder with the video of every lesson we're going to do is going to be in there. And last but not least, your tests or your assessments will be all in this green folder. So you can go check those out. You can see what we're about to do and see how they all work. Supplies you'll need. Well, you're going to need about 10 pencils for the year with sharpener, which some people tend to forget, or mechanical pencils, either one. Pen is absolutely not allowed. Erasable pen also not allowed. If I get work submitted and it looks like it was done in pen on the screen, I'm taking a point off, right? Because we make mistakes in math. If you're ever in my classroom, there's a big sign that says everyone makes mistakes, and mistakes is misspelled. And so the point of pencil is that you are supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to erase. It's not a copying contest. Okay, this is not English class where you're copying things down. You're going to need 150 sheets of 8.5 by 11 white lined paper, unless you write really big, then you're going to need more. Right? So you're going to need a folder. Yeah, you're going to submit your work online, but as some of you learn, sometimes Schoology, you submit things through Schoology, you think it went through, it didn't go through, and you need to find it again. Also, if we get back to school, I'm going to want your work to be brought with you. So you're going to get a folder, and you're going to put your work in your folder, and your work is going to have numbers on it, like 0.1, 0.2, and you're going to put them in order, right? You're not going to be at school, so you're going to need your own staple and staples to staple your work together, because you have a classwork and a homework every day, so you're going to have at least 2 pages, and so you're going to need to staple them together so they're not a big mess in your room. I'm hoping to do some whiteboard work at the end of our Zoom sessions, just to make it more fun rather than sitting there writing on paper. That's what I do in my regular class. So if you have a dry erase marker or a small whiteboard, that would be great. We will learn how you could make your own if you really can't get one at Staples or wherever. But we will be, at the end of class, practicing. We do a lot of practice in class, in Mr. Ben's class. And so then if you're using a whiteboard, you need a whiteboard eraser. Of course, you could use a towel or a tissue or something else since you're at home. All right, so here's our very first thing. These are called diamond problems. So you're going to go to the Schoology folder, and you're going to get the homework that's marked 0.1, and you're going to either print it out or you're going to copy these down on a piece of paper like that. And these are called diamond problems, and they do not have instructions. All I am going to do is I'm going to do a few of them for you. And once I've done a few of them for you, you are supposed to complete the rest of them. So here's what you do in a diamond problem. Oops. All right, so that should be enough hints about what's going on there. So they all follow that same pattern. And good luck to you, and I will see you soon.